All right, we are back, and I'm over here trying to fix my camera as we getting started. I don't know what. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. I think. All right. Anyway, we are back. All right. I'm gonna have the top of my head cut off. All right, all good. So, Tommy, welcome back, my friend. We have you featured this week as the week 2 featured fighter of the week for New Line Cagefighting, and doesn't get any better than our pro welterweight champion, Mr. Thomas Gantt. 9-0 as a pro.
Glad to be back.
9-0 as a pro. He started 2024 0-0 and finished the year 8-0, and he's already got a win this year. The man is busy. He's in a hurry. No time to play around. So actually no time to play around today either. You're about to jump on a plane. So what do you guys got going on this weekend?
Yeah, man. So I'm an assistant at NC State for the wrestling program, and we're heading out to Oklahoma State to wrestle a dual meet. So I wrestled today at practice. I got a little shiner too, going with our guys yesterday. And then we'll wrestle them tomorrow night on ESPN, I think at 7, I want to say.
Okay.
And yeah, man, they'll be headed back to work, get it in, so back to the grind.
Oklahoma State, one of the big time teams in college wrestling, right?
Yep. They are. Yep. Yeah, we're both top 10 right now.
Yeah,
they're third, I want to say, second or third, something like that.
I know. I've seen over the years. I've seen a lot of guys from like Iowa and Oklahoma State in the UFC. Mm-hmm. And soon we're going to see some NC State guys. I don't know if you're going to be the first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
I don't think you're going to be the last.
Yeah, I agree. We had one guy, Max Roscoff. He was in there. He was my teammate, actually. But he fought for UFC for a fight, I want to say, something like that. But, yeah, we got to get that rich history like Oklahoma State, man.
Yeah.
They got Cormier, Couture, King Mo, all those dudes, MMA legends.
Yep. So, speaking of Cormier, man, you and Cormier go back. So tell me a little bit about the relationship you have with Dan.
So yeah, man. The guy that coached me at NC State, Pat Papalizio, and him were teammates. So throughout college, we were always cool. And he'd reach out here and there and congratulate me when I performed well in wrestling and whatnot. And then just kind of spent more and more time around each other and just hit it off from there. And then our assistant now, he coached at Oklahoma State for 20 years, I want to say. And he was like Daniel's little brother when they were at school. So we've just been hanging around recently, like the past 12 months or whatever, because of Zach too. So
yeah.
Good dude, though. He's a real good dude, man.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing, man. I'm going to go – we're in a hurry. I'm going to jump straight into these. So we're doing a little Q&A session. We put it out there for some fans to submit some questions for you. We have 3 questions here. So Dalton Huffstetler had a question. He wants to know if you grew up as a child wanting to fight.
I wouldn't say that, man. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily scared, but I had an older cousin that used to beat up on me all the time, man. So I wouldn't say I was a natural born fighter. It's just when I got into wrestling, like that's the mentality. So you either got it or you don't. You know what I mean? And to be good, you got to be willing to fight out there. Yeah. So that's probably where I adapted it from. And then just after college, like there's no real pro, so to speak, opportunities for wrestlers. So it just kind of happened, man. I didn't see myself fighting, but it just kind of happened. And to keep competing, and wrestling came to an end, and I was like, all right, here we go. I'll see if this works. And now here we are.
Here we are. I got one of our amateur fighters, Cole Givens. He submitted 2 questions for you here. So the first one is, what's the biggest goal that you have to accomplish for yourself in your pro career?
Hey, first off, Cole's the man. That's my guy. Big props to him. Yep. But probably just to win the UFC belt, man, and defend it a couple times, and then I'll probably be out the game after that, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm 32 right now, so I obviously only got 5 years max in the game at lightweight anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's a young man's game, and I ain't an idiot, so I know that. So get through that first contract and keep it rolling, you know.
Lightweight is a division that you got to get in and make your mark quick. because it's hard to stay at the top. And it's, I mean, you got to just be on it, man. Your athleticism is a big part of it. When you get up to heavyweight, you got a little room for error if you slow down.
Yeah.
But down, you get down to 55, really 70 and down. I mean, the speed is just insane. And as soon as you lose a little bit of that speed, it's all over. So
it's a wrap. Yeah. I like to say, welterweight and lightweight, man, is the almost optimal weight for speed and power.
Yeah.
Which is working in my favor right now. So I ain't complaining at all, you know.
Yeah. So Cole had a second question. What are the 3 most important things to account for when training throughout a fight camp?
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. I would say I say wrestling's up there in no particular order: wrestling, striking, and cage presence, cage IQ. But I think the wrestling's kind of loaded one, because at the end of the day, it's like you get in there and compete with guys that's been doing this since they were 7. I started at 12, and that's particularly late for guys that compete at a high level in wrestling. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna wrestle, man, you got to be doing that like now. Like, it's got to start yesterday if you want to take this sport pretty far. Because at bare minimum, you got to be able to defend takedowns. If you can't do that, you gonna have a lot of problems, man. Not saying you can't do it, because look at Pereira, but that's 1 in a million. That's the 1% of the 1%. So unless you got that hook like Pereira, then I would advise to wrestle, you know.
Yep.
So
coming into wrestling at 12, you're probably competing against a lot of kids who had been wrestling since they were 4 and 5. So it was probably like a rude awakening in the beginning, which definitely had to help mentally later. Like you probably saw a ton of losses early in your career, and you know what's the worst that can happen? It probably already happened. Like, you probably lost 5 in a row at some point, but you pushed through it. You're getting better because you were probably always probably 90% of the time you were wrestling somebody who was a better wrestler than you, and it had to drive you to really push and then get better. So at least
more experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And experience is everything. Just like in fight, man. You going against a guy that's got 300 wrestling matches. Like, obviously you're behind the 8 ball, so you got to do what you can do out there. But the good part about it is, the more experience you get wrestling guys like that, you know what it feels like, so you know what to expect the next time around. But speaking of losses, when I was in college, I think my sophomore year, so our head coach that I got right now, the guy that I'm actually working for, he coached me when I was in college. I went through a little bit of slump my senior year. So you got like the ACC conference slate, and then you got the tournament. So the duels are like football games, like it's 1-on-1. And then the conference tournament is the tournament. And the higher you place there, the better your chances are going to national. So I lose like 5, 6 straight. And he just kind of had a conversation with me that kind of helped me reshape how I approach the sport. And owed to him for that, because he's an excellent coach, and obviously I'm working for him now. But I ended up beating, long story short, those guys at all of them but one at the tournament, and I was 1 spot away from qualifying for nationals. And then my career just kind of took off from there.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go into a little bit of just fell down here. So you had a busy year, 2024. You had, I believe, 3 amateur fights. Your last 3 amateur fights, and you had 8 professional fights. Well, 9 professional fights. 8 wins, and then the no contest. I know that's sour. That's very sour to a lot of people. So what were some of your favorite moments of those 9 fights? We all know your least favorite moment. Like, what were some of your favorite moments of your fights you had throughout 2024? And I'm going to go ahead and throw in the one you had this year too with Benavidez.
I'd probably say fighting for you, man. I fought those 4 weeks back to back like that. I honestly don't even remember when they were, but hopping in that NLC cage for the first time, I was like, man, this thing's huge, because I had only fought in I think maybe I want to say 15, 20-foot cages. I don't know if 15 is a thing, but
usually 18. Usually 18 is like the smallest legal size you can use.
Yeah. So that's definitely what it was. When I hopped in there, man, I was like, man, this is way different. I'll be able to do some damage in here. And I kind of had a good performance that time, I guess. But other than that, man, just the whole Kyle Wright thing, man, that was kind of just weird to me, man. I came out of the cage and Jerry was like, "Hey, they might be disqualifying you." I was like, "What?" And then it ended up being a no contest or whatever it was, and I was just like, "Man, that's crazy." But I don't know, man. Some
Yeah.
people are meant for fighting, man, and some aren't. So,
Yeah.
and obviously, you know who's on what side.
I saw one of the guys you were fighting, Josh Henry, and this guy really impressed me. The way he hung in there in the fight with you, taking so much damage, and this guy, like, he doesn't have a lot of height. And I was telling Jerry, I said if that guy was like 4 inches taller, he would be in UFC. This guy is like legit skill, like his skill wise, all around, his toughness, conditioning, everything. You broke him. I mean, you broke him down as you have everybody else, but like this guy really impressed me, Josh Henry.
Yo, that dude was tough. That's probably the toughest dude I ever fought, man.
Yeah.
I probably hit him with 30 elbows, and he just was eating them. I mean, I wouldn't say eating them because they were doing damage to him, but I was just impressed, man. I was like, this dude was taking some damage and still staying in there. I think the only reason that knee to the body hurt him is it hurt, it broke something, I guess. But that dude was tough.
And I'm gonna talk about the growth. So you said earlier you had 4 fights in 4 weeks. So you really couldn't take chances. You couldn't go too hard with the punches, the kicks. I got to fight. I got another fight in 7 days. I can't get hurt. So you were having to come out and just wrestle and ride people. What was it like when you had a little bit of separation, a little bit of time to train, to prepare, to develop, and then getting to come out and actually show out? If I get hurt today, a little injury, I'm good. I got like 60 days before the next
weeks to prepare. Dude, it was crazy. That 4 weeks was kind of like a blur, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
And me and Jerry got into it a bunch of times. He was like, dude, he's like, just go out and wrestle him. I was like, man, I ain't wrestling this dude. I'm about to knock him out or whatever. He's like, dude, I'm telling you got to be healthy for next week. You got to go out and wrestle this dude. I was like, all right, man, whatever. And lo and behold, he was right. At the time, I was kind of inexperienced and I didn't really know, but he was right at the time. And thank God I listened to him and things played out how they did. But yeah, man, that was wild, man. That was wild.
Yeah. So you guys heading to the plane now?
We're about to head out. We're about to head out of here, man.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this thing.
We're flying into Tulsa and then wrestling tomorrow.
Okay. We'll be real quick here. Let's see. So you had four fights here last year.
A couple more minutes.
So you had the Hewlett fight, your first time getting in a 30-foot cage. Hewlett's a really good fighter, and he's had some success since that night. Mahler was another one. And Mahler was a 2-0 pro. You gave him his first loss, and then you came out, had the Wright fight, and then Zarate. And all 4 of these fights were, I believe, in a matter of 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, your first. Yeah. So we had June 29th. June 29th, and then we had July 20th, August 3rd, and August 10th. You were also fighting at other places, in between those weeks.
Yeah.
So you fought for me 3 times in 4 weeks, right there. Out of those 4 you had. So that was definitely a blur because I know you were traveling around the country, recruiting trips, wrestling tournaments, practices, and I don't know how much time you actually got to train.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was literally about to say that when I was talking about my manager hooking me up and all that. Man, I didn't have time to train. It was literally like I'd finish, get out of the cage, go back home, and he's like, "Yeah, we gotta leave Thursday. We're getting ready to fight again Saturday." I was like, "Man, all right." So not to say that it was boring, but I guess just I see why people don't do that. You know what I mean? Because you can't even train. You know what I mean? Now if the money's right for the right promotion, then it is what it is. I do it all over again.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be good experience. So, I mean, if you ever do get that call, UFC, hey, we need somebody in 3 days. You've been there. You've been there. You've gone through it. Not a lot of people. I'm sure I've seen some guys that have done it. Tommy Morrison in boxing. I swear he was on Tuesday night fights on ESPN for like 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I've seen it, but it's not been a lot of people. But with your situation, you were 31 years old, just just getting into the sport. You got to pack them in. Got to pack them in tight.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing the 3 to 4 a year like everybody else, you're going to be 35.
Yeah,
by the time you have a career ready for UFC, you're 35, and then they're not going to want you. So I think you did it right. It had to have been very difficult, and but it needed to be done. If you were, that was the steps you needed to get to the next level. So I believe it was had to be hard as hell, but it was the move you had to make at this time. But I think it's all going to work out, because I think this summer we're gonna see you. We're gonna be watching you on ESPN this summer.
Hey, that's the game plan, man. I was thinking to myself when I was doing it too. I was like, man, this is a lot, but at the end of the day, it was now or never for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not 25, so
yeah,
I don't have the luxury of waiting and finishing the season out or this or that. It was just like, oh, I got to fight right now, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
Jay was like, hey, we got these dates, these dates, these dates. I was at a certain point, I was like, man, don't even tell me no. Just tell me when we're leaving. He's like, Thursday, we're out. Where? Kentucky. All right. I'll be outside.
All right.
Fall asleep in the back. He get us there, weigh in, and fight.
Yeah, you guys were showing up on fight day and coming in. We had the cage set up. You guys come in, get a big 2-hour training session in a few hours early.
Yep.
And then you'd go out and do your fight, usually the main event, the co-main event. And then you'd go. We'd be taking the cage down. You're in the back training, get your next training session in.
Hey, that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
I guess that's just the wrestling mentality, man. Like when we were in college too, same coach, if we didn't finish the match, like if I text somebody in 4 minutes or something like that, and then it was a 7-minute match, we'd go in the back and finish the wrestling match. So I guess I could just kind of adapted that same theory over here, and that's been working out. So I'll probably stick with that for the most part.
Mm-hmm. All right, so tomorrow you guys are going to be on ESPN against Oklahoma State. What time does this start?
Yeah, I think 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to see your boy on ESPN in the suit, tune in.
Tomorrow night, ESPN, 8 p.m. I'll have this video posted tonight, so we're going to see it. Tommy, I'm going to let you guys know you're about to jump on the plane. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and really hoping we can get you back for another one before Dana White snatches you up, so you can come fight for the homeless Dana White here in Kentucky, and then go fight for the real one in Vegas.
Hey, no doubt, man, and just a special shout out to my boy Keith, man. He's really doing his thing over there, man. I hope you succeed, man. I appreciate everything you've done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No doubt,
hey, good luck to you, all your guys tomorrow, and I'll be tuning in ESPN Plus. All right,
sounds good, Keith.
All right, man. Y'all have a safe flight.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.